All right, Ruforia. This is going to be the last section in educating the customer. Part 4. So this is Level the Playing Field. It is Chapter 1 by Steve Patrick. And this right here goes over the magic questions. All right, these, if nothing else, this is the important stuff that you need to be able to ask. You need to ask them in succession, right? Because they, it's a line of critical questioning, critical getting down deep and delving into it, basically. And it's basically based on them continuing to try to deny and give you BS responses, right? So magic question number 1. I think you ought to include everything that is legitimate and reasonable and strike anything that is not. Is that fair? Magic question number 2. Why do you say that? Or how did you draw that conclusion? Or what is your basis and foundation for your position? Do they, in fact, have an objective basis, or is it simply because he says so? That is called a self-proving statement, and it's utter nonsense. The representative simply must give you a rational reason for the conclusion they have drawn. Magic question number 3. Are you saying that this line item is unreasonable, or are you saying that it is illegitimate? Magic question number 4. So you don't dispute that the line item is reasonable and legitimate then? Magic question number 5. Don't just parrot corporate canned responses. What's the real reason you are omitting this from your estimate? Hold their feet to the fire and get to the heart of the matter. What's the root reason behind their decisions? You have a right to know the real reason behind what they're saying. Question skillfully and listen carefully and be persistent, and you will find out. Unless, of course, your adjuster gets frustrated or angry and just storms off. And this may actually happen. Most rookie adjusters have never had someone use critical thinking and a logical thought process to determine the real reason for their decisions before. Once they realize that you will not accept a corporate, canned non-response, then it occurs to them that they don't actually know the real reason behind their decisions. They're simply saying what they're told to say. If that is the case, then you need to be talking with their claims manager and questioning them skillfully and listening carefully to their responses. We recommend that all communications be in writing whenever possible. When not possible, record the conversations. Some states require that you notify other people that are being recorded before the recording begins. Recording laws. If you're in one of those states, tell them that you're recording their conversation. Now, I'm going to make a caveat here. We live in Indiana. This is a one-party state. That means that you can record a phone call without the other party knowing about it. And as long as you know that you're recording a phone call, it is legal. Now, this is a big deal. If you are calling someone in, I don't know, I'm just going to make up a state, Texas. I don't know what the law is in Texas, but if Texas is a two-party state, you have to go by their state laws, right? So if their area code, if they're using a cell phone, if they're working in Indiana and they've been here for 17 years, but they're using a cell phone whose area code is in Texas and Texas is a two-party state, you have to go by the two-party state rule. I know it's that's bogus, right? But it's the truth. So we've got to abide by the laws. You can't use it otherwise. There's no use in doing it if you can't use it, right? But this also goes as far as recording someone through like a GoPro camera, right? They don't have to consent. We're in Indiana, one-party consent. As long as you're okay with it, they don't have a say, right? And besides, really, if they don't want you to record them, why not? What are they hiding? If we're out here if we're both working as professionals and we're both doing stuff above board, doing what we're supposed to be doing, well, then what do they care if you record it? If they have a problem with you recording it, then there is a problem. They're probably doing something shady, okay? If they say it's against their company policy, well, maybe then they need to hire a different engineering firm or a different TPA or whatever, because this is one-party consent, and I don't care what your firm says, right? I'm recording it because that's what my company does, because it's my company policy that says I do it. So whatever. They can't use that in Indiana when you're in person on site. Now on the phone, if they've got an area code from a state that's two-party, remember, you cannot use it without the consent. But really it's just, hey, listen, I'm recording this phone call for training purposes, just like you do on every one of your phone calls. I'm just letting you know we are also recording because they probably are. Just like you get on every phone call when you're calling any corporation and they say that at the beginning of the call. All you got to do is say it. And if they don't want to talk, well, okay. Then make sure that you've got that part recorded where it says they don't want to talk, right? Because you can use that when you show that to your customer, show that to the homeowner. Hey, look, you're probably dealing with cheaters. because cheaters don't want to be caught, and that's why they don't want to be recorded, right? That's how I frame that. Anyway, moving on. Once the reinspection is complete, the adjusters should make adjustments to their original estimate based on the actual evidence. If they do not, or the amount of their second estimate is still insufficient, now your claim is considered ripe for appraisal, a legal term. That means that you have given the carrier sufficient opportunity in the law's eyes to settle the claim reasonably. You can use the information found in this ebook to continue your fight, or simply hand the fight over to us by invoking the appraisal clause in your policy. And now with us, with Eagle Restoration, we work with Spartan Claims. And so if we've already got them signed up, which is part of our protocol, which is signing them up with Spartan on a contingency basis, same as we're signing up them for us on our contingency basis. So that way, if it gets to that point and we need to go to Spartan, they've already signed off on it. All we have to do is push the information which we've already gathered. We've already got the Sighthawk. We've already got the measurements. We've got the pictures. We've got everything that we need. Everything. And we just share that file with Spartan and we send it over to them and they make contact with the homeowner and get moving on that. Right? And then it's a handoff. Right? It's like a relay race. And then we just wait for them to hand it back off to us. Right? And they do that once everything is settled. Once the carrier has been afforded the opportunity to settle the claim in a reasonable manner but has refused to do so to your satisfaction, you have the right to have your loss independently appraised by a competent, independent appraiser and an umpire if one becomes necessary. Demand appraisal immediately using our victim help form. So our PAs have that covered, and I'll go over that with our customers if we need to. If the carrier is stating that your claim or a part of your claim is being denied, you need to determine whether this is a denial based on exclusionary language in your policy. Realize that an insurance policy is a contract. Neither adjusters nor their claims managers determine what's covered and what is not. Only the policy language determines what is covered. If the event occurred is listed as a named peril in the property policy, then there must be an exclusion in the policy language that excludes coverage based on your particular set of circumstances. You can write a concise letter using language similar to the sample below to determine if the carrier is basing an actual denial on policy language or not. And then I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then this will be the end of it. It is my understanding that you have not applied any exclusions, partial exclusions, or limitations to my claim. If this is inaccurate, please inform me in writing the policy language that forms the basis for your coverage decision and how you arrived at your conclusions. In addition, explain the precise incidents, circumstances, or risk factors that disqualified me for coverage, partial or otherwise, under my claim. Moreover, please state the sources of information that you relied upon to make your coverage decision. So anyway, that wraps it up for educating the customer. Thanks for being a part of it, and we will see you soon.